Great. Okay, so okay, great. So yesterday you have seen what we have done so far. So we'll be rushing out uh, back today uh, because the core concepts have been already taught to you, and then now basically we'll be using this knowledge to build apps. Okay, so today we'll be building two apps. One is the MI card, or basically a profile app, where uh, I'll show you the moment where it is basically a profile app where you have your photo, username, and your email ID and phone number. And after that, we'll be building WhatsApp UI. So we'll try to cover it in next 2 hours, and then we'll start. If we able to do it, then we'll start with the stateful widget apps called as the stone paper scissor app, where it is basically you'll see how the whole widget is being rebuilt by Flutter, and then it is the first step towards moving intermediate or getting to know Flutter in detail. Okay, till then distance, I'll show you what we'll be building today. Okay, so this is what we'll be building it today, basically. So far what we have done, if you see on our app, is we are able to only have one picture or one text on your home page. But now, what if we want multiple things? Okay, so let's go and try it if we can directly copy paste the same thing. So yesterday when we were here, right? So let's collapse the app bar. So in the body we have a center and we have an image. What if we want another image? Okay, let's see if we can go. If you get this kind of problem, right, where you have to go beyond the screen, just right click there, and there is something called as soft wrap. If you say soft wrap, what it will do, it will break it down into multiple lines so that you don't need to scroll down. Okay, so now we see our child is here, right? Now let us say if we can create another child. Okay, we cannot. But then what we want, let us say we want two images. We want two images, one below the other. Okay, with this, let us say we for now we want the same image, and then I copy the whole thing, and just like here, if you see in the body what I did in the app bar, I said background color is this, then I put comma and then put title. So I'm able to use two attributes here. But if I paste it here, it is showing me an error. The reason is because a container by default can have only one child inside it. So what? No, why is that? It is because that is how a container is made. So when yesterday I showed you in Paint, right? So what is the container? So basically container is only one thing. So what it assumes is either this will be a whole playground, or the next thing what I can do is I can create another widget here, and I say this is my another container. So again what it says, in this container there can be only one child. So that is how is the syntax of how container is built. So now what is an alternative to this? But what if we say that we want multiple widgets inside a screen? So in that scenario, we have to use something called as rows and columns. Okay, now what are these rows and columns is what I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so the what I'll do is I'll delete this child. Okay, so I hope everybody is clear with all those things which you have done so far, or else you want me to write from scratch. Okay, so I'll remove everything and I'll just revise of what we think today. So the first thing what we do is we import a material.dat file. Why? Because we want ready-made packages to be used. Then what we do is we use something called as void main. Okay, in the void main, what we do, we run a syntax called as run app. Okay, so void main, and inside this thing we write something called as run app, and this run app will write we can give any it can call any method or any class. So let us give it as my app. Okay, this is done, but now it is showing that my class doesn't exist. So what I write, I come out of this, I write a stl stateless widget, stateless class, and then for that I'll give a name as my app. Okay, this is done. So now again we are back to the same thing, container. So a container can have only one child. Okay. So as I told you, child, and if I this is how it works. And if I run it now, this is what I get. But what if I want multiple child and I run it, it shows an error here. An argument name time child was already specified. It means I can use only one child. But what if I want two images? So I cannot use this. So what I have to do is first thing is so the first thing what we do is return a material app. Okay. Inside this material app, what we have control spacebar, we have a home. Okay. And that home is nothing but scaffold. Okay. Now scaffold has two things. One is it has an app bar, and then we can give an app bar, and that app bar can have a certain control spacebar. It has it we can give a title to app bar, and that title will be of type text, and then we can say it as my first app. My first app, and then give a background color. That color can be colors dot orange, and then we are done with the app bar. See, you can see here the app bar is finished here. So we come below that, and now what we can do is we can create a body. Okay, so now what we are doing here, we were adding a container, and then we're doing all those things. Okay, so now here what will we do is we will add something called wait first we'll show what is okay. So this is clear. My first app bar, the color should have been orange. I don't know why is it not changing. Okay, so this, and now I change it again. Okay. So you were clear till here. Now what we did till yesterday, we did a body and we had a container. But now what we will do is we don't need a container. We'll put something called as row. Just a moment. I'll try to keep it stay awake so that it doesn't close again and again. very rare. Okay. We'll add something called as column. So now what is row and what is column is what we'll see. Okay. So now let's put a column here. Okay. And now as same, we don't know what to put next. So what we do, we press Control Space Bar, and now it is showing us child. So in the container it was showing child, but now what it is showing us, it is showing us children. Then okay, let's say click children. Okay. So now let's try to add a text here. Okay, and text, let's say hi Abhishek. Okay, and then just run it and see what happens. Okay, now let me add another name. I'll say text, and I say welcome page, and I run it again. Okay, now what if I copy these two things and I just paste it? Okay, and now I just run it. Okay, so now can you see that if you want to use multiple widgets, basically what happens is you cannot use a container because a container has only one child. You can only keep one pencil in a box or thing. But then if you want a shelf where you can keep multiple things, so either it is in a row or a column. Okay. So now if I have a column now, what does happen if I change it to row? Okay. So now if you see, it is aligned in a horizontal manner. So basically what we do is if we want to arrange multiple things. So what, so now when I do you when should I use a row or when should I use a column? One thing is when I want more than one widget in my app, I will use a row and column. And then how should I also make that even if I want to use a row or column, if I should use a row or if should use a column? I will use a row when I want widgets to be horizontally aligned because that is how row works. So basic, we have 1, 2, 3 rows, right? So the similar way, it is always in the horizontal direction. So in the similar way, when do we use column? Column is used when we want the widgets to be aligned in a vertical way, one below the another. Okay. So are you clear till here? The concept of rows and columns, or you want me to explain it again? Hello.
Yes, Abhishek, clear.
Yes. Okay, so now this is the now what we have done. So yesterday first we learned about a container because now what happens container now can we use a container, a column inside a container or a container inside a column? Yes, it always works. We can also do like that as well. But that permutation combination we'll see as per our app needs. So far what we were doing, so we wanted to know is that can we add a the biggest challenge what we are facing so far is we were only able to add one widget, either only one image or only one text. Now we solve that problem. How? By using a row or column. Okay. So now let's go back and then see if we can add multiple images in this row or column. Okay. So just a moment. What I'll do, I'll remove. I'll keep two of these things, and then after two text, what I'll do is I'll add an image. Image.network. Copy image. Script. The extension has to be a, let's see that, JPG. Let's try this. Okay, I was able to add an image here. So what if I copy this, and then if I paste it again, will another image come? Let us try. Okay, so can you see? Now we solved that problem of adding multiple widgets into the same layer. Okay, so now this is basically how a row and column works. So now what we will do, now we'll delete everything, and then what we will do is I'll show you how to build this. Okay, so now in that, someone was asking yesterday that how we can make triangular or circular widgets, right? Maybe the app bar or any of the widgets which we have. So now if you see, so far we have worked only on one widget. Now we will adding multiple widgets, and also we'll be introducing you with some of the new widgets which we'll be using in Flutter. And once we do with this app, then we will move towards building the WhatsApp app. Okay. So now let's get started with this. So the code, the source code for this has already been pasted here uh, in this. Yes. Okay. I have already pasted it here. You can, if you just download this, you can get it. Also, once I'm start doing that WhatsApp code, I'll also share you that. So now what will I do? I'll go here. I'll delete every single thing.
Hello,
Yes.
this is Netra. Abhishek, actually, I had one question.
Yes. Please.
How can we use both row and column? Like in one row, I want two images.
In one row you want. Okay. Great. Let's do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. No issues. Hmm. So what Netra is asking is, student. So you say in a row I want two images, and then I want a column, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Hmm. Let's do it. So for that purpose, what I'll do, I either try to get some other image so that I'll use some other image. This is one of the logo which I'm using. Now I'll go here and paste it. Just one. Hmm. Why is it not running? Okay, so I have an image here. Now I think I should resize the image. Okay, no problem. So what I'll show for now is, first I'll show you how to play between rows and columns combination. Okay, till that anybody can get a small image and then share the link with me. That would be great. Okay. Okay, so I have this. So now I have everything in column. It means this is, so if I say hi Abhishek, hi Kantik, it is arranging in a column. Is it one below the other? right? Now what if, so now what if I want uh, the next two text to be aligned? So here what I can do is, in the column I can write something as row. Okay, so now my next, okay, so my next widget here will be row. So again, like, but what you see, a column also has multiple children. In a similar way, a row also has multiple children. So what you do, once I come inside row, what I can say, I press Control Spacebar. It says children. Okay, children. I come inside it, and now what I'll do, let's say I want to add a text, and I say hi Kavya. Okay, and now let's run and see what happens. Okay, I have a hi Kavya here. So now don't worry about this orientation. I'll tell you why this orientation is happening. And then now next what I put is, I'll put this image. Okay. And now I put an image, and now I run it. Can you see what is happening now? Kavya?
Yeah, yeah.
So you got it how to do it?
Yes.
So basically what we can do is, so now what we are doing, we are creating a whole hierarchy here. So now how is that hierarchy? So in the, say, let's say in the app in the body, in the same thing, right? So what I'll do, everything is same. Now what I am doing is, I'm creating a column. Okay. Now column can, so the column can have children, not child, it is children here. Okay.
Hmm.
So the first widget in a column I put, in the first column I put a text. Okay, and the text was Abhishek. Okay, now the next widget in the here was text, which I put it as Kantesh. Okay, now the third widget which I put here was not any text image, but it was a row. Now what I did, I went again inside this row. Now because row and column are like brother sisters, and now in the row it also has children. So the first what I put an text, and that text I called it as Kavya. And then in the second, what I put an image. An image was nothing but a company logo. Okay, understood? So what I'm creating here, basically I'm creating an hierarchy, if you understand, right?
Yeah,
So if you have this hierarchy clear in your mind, you can do it. So now if you see, now if you see the whole thing is, so like, what I'll do is, I'll create a snipping tool out of it. Just a moment. And then now I'll show how things are divided here. Okay, I think, okay. Well, actually, what I could do, I could have done it here only. Just a moment. No problem. Okay. So I'll say, where is that image called as test? Okay. I'll open this with paint. Okay. So now let us say this is what you have built. Okay, so far. So now, This whole is a scaffold. Okay, this is a scaffold. Now this is the app bar. I change the color. This is the app bar. Now this is the body. In this body we had put column. So where is the column? This whole is a column. This whole is a column.
Hmm.
Okay, now inside that column we have this is the first widget. Okay, this text, both this text is the first widget, and then this is the second widget. What is the second widget? Second widget is a row. Okay, this is the second widget, and now what is happening is in that row this is our first widget, and then this is a second widget. Understanding?
Yes.
So this is how it would. So anybody having any doubts in this row and column blending? Anybody there?
Hello.
No.
One person at a time, please. Mahesh. Yes, Mahesh. Mahesh, go ahead.
Yes, sir, there is no doubt.
Okay, you understood it?
Hello,
Okay.
Abhishek.
Yes. Yes, please. Your name?
Kavya.
Yes, yes, Kavya. Tell me.
Can we give a specific width like column 6, column 8 type?
Sorry?
Can we give a specific width like a column 6, column 12?
Yes, yes, we
Numbers.
can. Yes, yes, we can give. So there is something called an expanded widget, which I'll show you in a period of time. Okay, for playing with that. So, but then for now, I wanted to make sure that you understand the combination of rows and columns, so that you can add multiple widgets, and how rows and columns are different from container. So basically, you can say rows and columns are one group, and container is another group, and these two are cousin brothers, whereas one parent can have multiple children, whereas this child can have only this parent can have only one child. So that is the concept of rows and columns. Okay, so now we'll implement the same thing using the app. Okay, and then now we'll be building this app. Okay, this is what we are basically trying to build. Okay, so now let's go ahead and build it. Okay, so for now what we'll see is first we'll try to align all these things, and then we can go ahead. Okay, so I see by 10:30 by 10:15 10:30 we should finish off this app. Okay, so let's start. So now what will I do? I'll again remove everything. I'll say import. It's always better to start from the scratch because it makes uh, you understand everything. And then what I do is I write my void main, and then I open my function, and I write here as run app, and I say it is as my app. My app. Now they're asking me error, showing me error because I don't have an my app. So I say class my app, my app. Okay, so now I run it. Okay, great. So now in the return, what I have to write? I have to remove this container, and I'll write a material app. I'll come inside this material app and I write uh, a scaffold. a moment.
Home.
I have to home. Yes. So I come home and I write scaffold. Okay. Once I have this, now I can have an app bar and a body. But now let's go ahead and check this. Now here we do not have any app bar, right? So we'll not use an app bar now. Directly we'll go with the body. So what do I say? I say a body. Okay, a body. So now what will my body be? My body will be a row, not row, a column. Because you see all these things are aligned vertically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here again we have this two things which we'll see how we can fix it. But for now, what we'll do is we'll create a column. Okay. Once I create a column, as in container we have to write child, in column we have to write children. Now how do we write that? Press Control space bar, say children, press enter. So now what next? So the first thing is we want some background color. This is some background color and we are getting nothing. So that color I see is teal accent. So what we do inside this in the home itself, right? We have a parameter called as background color. So I can write colors dot teal accent. Now let's me try. Okay, now if you see this color and this color are both matching. Okay, great. Now what can I do? I have to give an image. Okay, so now what I can do, I write image dot network and then I'll give one image there. Okay, let me see if I can get the same image. No, let's go to I don't think this image will work, but let's try it out for once. Yeah, it worked. No problem. Okay, so for now, we'll not worry about the circular things and all those things. First, what we'll do, we'll we'll go step by step. Either what you can do is we can get step by step fix every single thing, or first what we'll do is we'll put whatever content we want, right? The content. First this, then this text and all those things, and then we can go ahead and edit each one of them. So personally, I what I do is, because if I now sit down and then start doing all this editing, it takes time, right? So what I do is first I always put out content, so that once we know that we are able to do it, then I go edit and sit very specifically and work on all those things. So I want two text here, and then okay, let's go. It says Abhishek and it says Flutter developer. So what I do, okay, so first I'll go right click, reformat code. Okay, so now I'll just close this, because once we have once image, so the first child in my column is image, then next will be a text. Okay, so now what this text would say Abhishek. Okay, and then what I'll do, so what I'll do, I'll use the copy paste. So at times what you want, either you can copy paste it, or if you just click here and press Control D. If you press Control D, automatically the same widget will be copied below. And now what I'll do is just replace this. And now I'll say it as Flutter developer. Developer. Okay, now let's try it. Okay, I've got this. Next, what we want is, okay, we have some space here. Now we'll see later how can we generate this kind of space. But then now basically inside the column we should have two rows with two widgets. So what I'll do, I'll just only design one for now, and then what I'll do is I'll copy paste the same thing. Okay. So let's go here, and then now what I'll create a row. I'll create a row. Again, if I put row, I have to say children, right? Now I come inside my children. So what is my first child? So my first child, if you see, it is a kind of icon, and then I have a text. So my first child will be an icon, and the second will be my text. Okay. So I say so now as we have text, similarly we also have a widget called as icon. Okay, and then in this icon, what you have to do is icon, and then call icons dot. Here it seems like a call, right? Not icons dot call. See here you can see what kind of icon you can get it. Okay, so icon dot call. Okay, I want that, and then I put comma, and then next what I want a text. So what will I do? I don't want to write the code again. I'll copy this. I'll paste again a text here, and here what I want is a phone number. So I say plus 9195909191. Okay. So now let's run and see what happens. Okay, at least we have got this, right? So if you see in a way, what I'll do is I can copy paste the same thing. I have a row here. So now I see where my row is ending. I copy here, and all I have to do is I paste it here. I cannot paste it here. Wait. So my row is ending here, right? So from here to here I have to copy it, because this row is also one of the widget. So after this row I have to give comma, and now I see I can close it here. This is row. I can come down and press Ctrl V. I have another row, and now if I run it, I have the same thing. Now I can change the icon to these things. But what I'll do is for now I'll only work on styling of these things, because once I style, because I have to style it. If I copy paste it, right, what happens now, again I have to go and style that as well. So what I'll do, I'll style this perfectly. I'll copy paste it, and then I'll change the content. Okay, great. So any doubts so far? What I did, how I did it? Okay, is my speed good, or you want me to go slow, a bit fast, or else it is okay? Okay, so did you understand what I do so far?
Yeah. How can we change the font? Like we can use the font whichever is installed on our PC, or we have to we can change it via network also.
Network via you cannot there, but there is external ways how you can do it. So that is also be showing, because if you see this font, we'll be styling the font. This is a font which is downloaded from internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll show all those things in a while.
Okay.
Okay, but then apart from that, anything else which you guys did not understood here and you want me to explain it again? Because now we are working on the small things. Now what we are focusing more on is the styling part. Okay, so this understanding this concept is very much important here. Column has children. Children can have multiple children. In that children also you can put a row, and that row can have multiple children. Okay. Anybody with any doubts? I'm open for next
Can
5
we
minutes.
import icons?
Yes, you can import icons.
Means if we don't like that icon, can we get it from internet and all?
Yes, you can get it. So after this done, I'll show you. First thing is how can I import a local image? Okay. How can we import a text font, external font if you want? So basically, as you are asking, I'll show you how to import an image, external image or external icon. Okay. So any doubts, or you want me to go ahead and start designing it?
Yeah, I think you should start designing it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Right. Okay. So now what will I do? Now I want to style it. Okay. So let's start styling. So what is the first thing I had? Now, first thing you see, everything aligned here is in the center, but here the alignment is not in the center overall, right? So what is the first thing we have to do? Go, we have a column, right? So in this column, I'll just click on this column. I'll right click and I'll say center widget. Okay, and now I'll run again. Okay. This should have centered it. I don't know why it's not. It is not doing it. Let me run it again. Okay, no problem. Okay, maybe it is because of the height width ratio of the image. So basically I wanted to center it and have centered it, but then now what I'll do, I'll remove the center for now. Okay, and then now first I'll style it into a circle. So at times if you see, even if everything is right, it may not work. Maybe we had to add some extra parameters which I would have missed out. But now what you see, I want to make it circle, right, the image. So now what I can do is, so I have a widget called as image.network, right? So now there is a widget in Flutter where what you can do is directly you can make it circular. Okay. Now how can you do it is what we'll work on now. Okay. So what I'll do is, for now, I'll comment this out. Or what I'll do is Control X. Okay. So now there is something called as circular avatar. Okay, so this is a new widget I'm introducing. So what I can do, I can take this image, I can put a radius and I can put a circle, or else there is already a what you can say, widget which can ready-madely do it for you. Okay, now circular avatar. So I open a circular avatar and then I say control space. Now what can I ask? So it is asking me for an background image. Okay, background image is what I am looking out for. Yes, I want a background image, and then there I can say image.network. Okay, just a moment. I'll try to extract it from here. Oh, sorry, it is of type image provider. Just a moment. So normally what happens is that by default, circular avatar is basically used when you have an internal image, right? If I have an image in my assets file, and then that is when I can use an image URL. Okay, but then what we will do now is we have to add a parameter. So for now, what I will do is I'll leave it the image as it is. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you the image from we'll keep this image as it is. Okay, and at the end I'll work on this, because now what we'll be adding is we'll also be using internal image to change it, and then we'll use an external image to also change it. So I'll show you both how the images can be changed from internal as well external, along with the circle avatar as well. Okay, so what we will do is first, just a moment, it's loading. Okay, right. Okay, so now I'll leave the image part at the end, because if I explain a lot of the external components of adding an asset and then taking it to work, you'll forget a lot of things. Okay, so now first I'll tell you how to first style all these things, and then at the end we'll move to the image part. Okay, so now, hello, yes, anybody with any queries?
Yeah, Abhishek, actually you can close that project view. It will we can see all the code clearly. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so now what will I do is first I'll show you how to style this, and also so far whatever images we have been using it from an external sources. Okay, so now we'll spend some time and understand what if I have an internal image and how can I use it. Okay, so if you see this image has been fetched from my github source. This is where from where I'm getting the image address. But as some of you asked that how can I get image which is from my local source, or how can I change an icon which is from my local source, right? So for that what we have to do is, now there is various procedures which you have to follow. Okay, now what is that? Okay, first I should have an image. Okay, from where I want to copy it. Okay, so what I've done in my personal card, now I have an image. Okay, now this is the image. This is the image. So the same image, what I'm trying to do is I'm inserting it from my local source. Now I'll show you how to import an image from a local source, and then I'll show you how. Already I've shown you how to get it from internet. Now I'll show you how to get it from local source, and now how to convert it into a circular avatar. Okay, so I copy this, and then now I want to use it in my local project. Okay, so now what should I do? Now there are various procedures which you have to do in order to import an image. So what you have to do is, the first thing is go to project. Okay, and here you have to create a folder which says images in this. Now what is the best way of do it? I just right click on it. I right click on any of the folder. I say go show in explorer, And here what I do is I have to create a new folder, okay, and I say it as images, okay, and in this images I'll paste that image, okay. The image name is abhi.jpg file, okay. So now this is the first thing which we have done, to use an internal sorry, to use an image from our local project. This is the first thing what I have done. So what I'll do now is I'll remove this, okay. I'll remove this and we'll run it. So now if you can see, we just have the name here, the name, my credentials, and my phone number. But now, once we have inserted the image, what we have to do is we have to go to a file called as pubspec.yaml. Okay. So now what? So basically, pubspec.yaml, it is like an entry gate, or basically a file which manages all your external dependencies. That what all things you are externally using it, right? So all these things, it is where it is sorry, it is initialized. So now let us say you want to use external fonts, then you have to use you have to uncomment it and use it. So for now, if I want to use an internal image, what I have to do is first copy paste and put it in an image. Copy paste the image in a folder by creating a new folder called as images. And then here, if you see, just open this pubspec.yaml. So we just scroll it down, it looks very big, but then only if you comment off all those things, it will be very small code. Okay. So once I come here, it says here to add assets to your application, add an asset section like this, images hash your file name. Okay. So what will I do? I'll uncomment this. I'll uncomment these 3 lines. Okay. I press Control and forward slash. Okay. But we have images folder, but we do not have this file name. So what will I do? I delete this. Okay. And here what I'll do is I'll name it as .jpg. Okay. And once I do this, what I have to do is I say packages get. Okay. So if you see, I got some error. It says expecting while block mapping assets and something. Okay. So even most of you will get this error. The main reason is because this file pubspec.yaml is very it has to be very clear with the indentation part. Now what do I mean by indentation part? It is how much space I have from the border. So for example, the parent should have 1 tab space and its child should have 2 tab space. So if you see now, if you see now, if you see, there should not be any problem here, but still it is showing us error when I say packages get, right? It is showing me some, it will show me some error here, right? See, it is showing assets that it is having some error. So what I'll do, you see how the error can be fixed here. This is only for pubspec.yaml file because it is very sensitive. All I have to take it to the border. Okay, I take it to the border, and now it is a parent because it is in blue color. It is a parent. What I say, I press 1 tab space. Okay, and then it is a child. So now what I'll say, I click here. I'll take it to border, and I press 2 tab space 1 2. Okay, and then I say packages get. Okay, so now if you see, it says process finished with exit code 0. We did not have any error now. So if you see, this is one of the challenges which happens for you. So what normally I used to do earlier is there is a 4 space here. So to go back and press spacebar, spacebar, spacebar. So this becomes very challenging. So the best thing to do is you take this to border. If it is a parent, give 1 tab. You take this to the border, and now press double tab. Now it will take it to this. Okay. So this is all what we have to do in order to add an external to have an external image to our internal project, and then also telling the project that we will be using this image. Okay, so now let's go back again to our main.dart. Okay, and now let's use a circular avatar here and see if we are able to use the circular avatar now. Okay, yes, circular avatar. Yes, we want a circular avatar. Okay. Okay, I'll put a comma here first, and then I'll go right click, reformat code. Okay, I have a circular avatar. And the circular avatar, I want a background image. So far if you see, we have the same thing and we do not have an image here. So what I'm doing, I'm putting circle avatar above this text so that whatever we put comes above this. Okay. So we want a background image for the circle avatar. So now from where are we getting? Now we are not getting it from network image. We are not getting it from network image, but we are getting it from a asset image because that is locally available with us. Okay. Now what is the URL of that? Now for that what you have to go is first you go to images folder. After you go to images folder, there is a file name as a b.jpg. Now that is what we want is I want to tell. And I press comma. And now what I say is, so now if you see I'm not getting any errors as I was getting when I was directly using the network image, because directly you cannot use that image here. So now I say run. Okay. So now if you see, we have a small image here. Okay. But then I say it is very small. Let's make it a bit larger. So what can I do? Circular avatar. The first parameter which I have is a background image, and I have given an image. Now there is also something called as a parameter to enlarge it. So that is, so one thing is because I know I directly can put it, or if you don't know, press Control space bar, and there is something called as radius. I say okay, let's give it a radius. Okay, so now the radius will be somewhere around. So the radius would be, I feel, somewhere around 5 or 10. So now let's give it a radius of, let us say 50, and then run it again. No, it grew bigger. I feel now about giving it 150. Oh, nice. I think 150 is too much. Let's give it 100. Okay. I feel it's good enough. Change it again by 120. Okay. Good enough. Right? So we are able to do this now. Image. Now what I want. Now the next. So what I'll do, I'm done with the circular avatar. Okay. So what will I do next is I'll close this circle avatar. Now I'll come to this text. Okay. Now let me compare this text with with the text I had here. Now it has some other text name. The style is different. That style, what I've done is I've imported a font for that. Now from where did I import that font? I imported that font from Google Fonts. Now what I did, I went to Google. Okay, I went to this font because now I want to use an external font. So we have various categories. From here we can select what kind of font we want. So here it says asking me for category. So basically if you see here, it is something like a handwriting, right? So I had selected a handwriting font. So what I'll say, I'll remove everything and I want a handwriting font. So this is how also you can use for yourself. I specifically like the handwriting font. So let's go and check what we have. So that is something. The file name is Pacifico. Okay, if you have it, or else what you can also go and search is a font called as Paci. See, this is what the font is. So I just click on this font and I say download font family. Okay, I get this folder here. Now I say open folder. I have a file here to extract this folder. Okay, and I have a file here. Now what will I do? I'll copy this font. Okay, and I'll go to my project. Can anybody tell me what should I do now?
Create a folder for form.
Great. Again, go back here. So in Explorer, create a new folder called as fonts. Go inside, paste that font, close it. Okay. Now what I do? Go to pubspec.yaml. Okay. And here what I should do is here the family name. So from here, if you see till here, style is known here. So what I'll do is I'll uncomment this. Okay. Now we have a family. The family name is Pacifico. Pacifico. And
Even the font should be uncommented, right?
sorry. Yes,
The
yes, yes,
line above that.
yes. That has also to be uncommented. Okay. So I have a font here. The family I said it is Pacifico, and it is asking me for a asset name. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm giving only one font. So what I have to do is I have to go and check, open my font image, and the name is Pacifico space regular. So it is Pacifico, Pacifico, Pacifico dot regular, and I think this should make our things work. Let's say packages get.
Dada,
And, uh,
can't we use different font groups other than Google?
you can use whatever you want.
Okay.
Go, I press one tab here. I'll take it back. I'll press two tab here. I'll press three tab here. One, two, three. Okay, and for this I'll press four tab. One, two, three, four. Okay, now let's check. Okay, yes, clear. Next, what I'll do? Go to min.dart. I have a text here. I have a name. I say comma. Now what I want to give? I press enter. Okay, I'll press here. And now once I'm here, I have to give it some kind of styling. Right? So I'll say style and then the style will be of type text style. Text style. Okay. The text style now it will ask me for a font family. Font family. The font family will be Pacifico. Pacifico. Okay. Mm, and then once I give this, then let me give also some font size. Font size, let me give it as 20.0. Just at least for now, see if things are working, and then we will make a changes. Yeah, it is changing, but I don't know, the font size is not changing at all. Font size is changed. No problem. We'll see how to fix it later. And then I'll give it some color. And color will be colors dot some color. Let us say pink or something. Orange. It's not looking good. We'll give colors for teal. Okay, so normally the font family should come, but I don't know what is not happening. So sync with the system. Kantesh, any suggestions? Why do you think the images is, the font is not coming? I think the same issue we had in the last session as well,
I think it was just the indentation issue last time.
right? Yeah, the indentation issue.
Yeah, but that one was fixed. So
Mm, at times, even if you do everything correct, you don't know why it doesn't come.
Abhishek,
Yes,
actually, can you do Control Z here in YAML file?
Control Z.
Huh. Some style was there, what I saw.
This.
Control Z directly.
Oh, here.
Huh.
Oh, that is this thing. Style, right? This is
Style.
not needed.
yeah,
Okay.
that's required only if it's not regular font like italics or
Yes, yes. That is needed only if you have a. Go and this again. Pacifico. One, two, three, two, three, four.
Do you think that extra line after the asset should be removed? That causing an issue? The blank line?
Yeah, no, no. It should not matter. It should not matter at all.
Okay.
Maybe we have to recompile it again because normally last time also what happened after getting this problem, I did the same. I copied paste the same code on my other system. It worked.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't think that should be. So one of you try, and then definitely I feel in your system at least you should get it. But because the methodology is the same, okay. So no problem. So I have showed you the method.
So instead
Okay,
of the hot restart, should we try to restart fully?
let's try it. First I'll close it. Yeah, great. So what I'll do. Okay. So now if you see, all you need to do is you have to close your app. Thank you, Kantish. I missed that out. So
No worries.
what you have to do is you have to close the app. You have to stop the app because now you're using external things. If you see, I use the external image, but I did not have to do a hot reload. Hard restart. But then if I'm using external asset file, you have to close the app and then start it again. Okay. So now what you do next, if you see, we have fixed this. Now we have to fix this as well, Flutter developer. All we need to do is make it a bit bold, maybe. Yes, we'll make it a bit bold. So what we'll do is now in the column circle avatar is done. This text is done. Okay, in this Flutter developer, what I'll give is give comma, come back, give style, and then I have to say text style, and that style I have to have a color. Color we can give as colors white. Let's see if how it looks well. Mhm. I think black is good enough. We'll remove the color parameter. And now what it says font weight. Mm, no. Font weight is dot. What is bold parameter here? Just a moment, I'll just check the documentation. So at times if you get stuck somewhere, what you have to do is you have to just use that parameter and type letter, and then you will get the documentation process. Right? Okay. The parameter is font weight not bold, I think. Okay. It is font weight dot Yes, bold. Okay. Now let's try typing. I've had a hard restart, so it is taking time. So now we are doing this. So next what we have to do is we have to just design this box. Once we design it for once, we'll copy paste it for both of them. Okay, so we have this a bit darker. I think this is good enough. Next, what we'll do is, so here it is not bold. I have made a bold here, but I think that is okay. So next we want to design this box. Okay, and then if you see, we already have this content here, but then now this has to be in a box. This has to be in a box, and it's the background should be white, and then there has to be some spacing between this. Okay, now let's design this. Let's see how to do it. Okay, so mm, row is done. Okay, we were in the row. So this text Flutter developer is done. So I'll minimize it. So now we are going to row. Okay, and now what we have to do is first is that we want a container, we want a box, a background color to this thing, right? So now how can we, either we can give it some background color. Let's see if we can give a background color. So there is no parameter. There is no parameter in the row to give a background color. So see, as we have given background color in the home, this scaffold background color, colors.tail, what it is doing, it is giving color to the whole box, right? In a similar way, we want only a portion of this, like this. If you say, I'll show you on that. We want a portion which has to be white, okay? But now row doesn't have that feature. Now what can we do? The simplest way is, but if you see, container has that parameters of giving background color, giving some kind of margin and padding. So what we'll do, we'll wrap this row inside a container now. Yesterday, I think Kavya was asking that how can we add one box inside another box. Okay, yesterday I showed you how to have a box, and that in that inside box I had a container of yellow color, and inside that container I had a text. That is what we are going to do now. So what we'll do, we'll wrap this row inside a container. Okay, so we'll say wrap with a container. Now why are we doing it? It is because we want a box now. We want a box, and we want to give that box a color. Now row doesn't have that parameters to give background color or a margin, right? So what we'll do, we'll wrap with a container. Okay, container. Now in the container, what do I have? Okay, so in container has a parameter called as color, right? So I can give a color. So now what I'll do, I'll say colors dot white. Okay, now I'll run it step by step. Okay, yes. If you see, now I got a color here. But now I have to style it more better, like this. So now here, what I have to do? Now I have to also give it some kind of margin. Margin. If you see, why I want to give margin, from here it has some space, and from here also it has some space, right? So also container also has that property where I can give margin. So I say margin, and now margin to use margin, now there is something called as edge insets. Okay, dot. So if you want to give only from left, you can give only from left. If you want to give all, so I'll show you everything. If I say edge insights dot all dot value 16, so from all top, bottom, right, left, it will take a margin. Okay, but now if I remove edge insights dot only and I say on the left, and now if I say 16 and I run it, now if you see it is just taking it from just 16, right? But then for now, what I want is let's give something from just a moment. I'll be back. Okay. So what we will do is also what we can do is sorry, I've got some okay. So you can play around and you can understand on what basis you want to give. So edge insights that if you press Control Spacebar, you will see how all things can be given. But now I'll use something called as edge insights dot symmetric. What the symmetric means? Now I can directly give it for vertical as well as horizontal. Okay, so I want vertically. Let us give some 10. Sorry. And then I can give a horizontal. So horizontal, let me give something called as 20 and then see what happens. Okay, I want some more space. So let me give it 40. So if you see it is working. It is like we want to make it something like this, right? So I think 40 is good enough. But now what we want some gap here between this icon and this thing. Also, we want this box to be bit large, right? So for that, what we have to give is padding to that. So I'll take a special class on padding versus margin so that you can understand it more better. But basically for now, understand that margin is basically from top, bottom, right, left, whatever amount of number you give, it will align itself. It's like a margin border or as we have in our notebooks. But padding is something where from inside it starts going out. Okay, if I show you, I say edge insights dot all and I say let us say how much 16.0 and I run it. Okay, so now what happens when I am going to uncomment this. Okay, and now I run it. So when I say margin, what happens if you see when I say vertical 10 from top it is taking 10, from bottom if there is anything it is taking 10, from horizontal from here to here it is 40 pixels, from here to here it is 40 pixels. So from the external part it is aligning itself, whereas if I put padding, what it takes is this number, right? This number it is the text if you see can be broken down into a small box here, and this image can because image basically because of image size it is taking this box, or else it will only align itself as much as this small box, right? So now from here, from the content we want to give it some margin from inside. So from there what we are giving is we are saying edge insights from all 16. This padding is always from inside. So we remove that, realign, and then I'll run it. Okay. Now this is looking bit nice, flexible as like this we have. But now if you see, the major thing is we want some gap between these two, which is not there. Also, there is the icon has been given some color. Okay, so now let's do that. So now what we can do, now we have an icon and we have a text and we are inside a row. So now what happens is, if we want to give some space, right? Now there is a parameter called as sized box. So after icon, I can do something called as sized box. Okay. And now what is the size box? Size box is basically a khali box or empty box, and I can give some kind of width to it. The width I say is, let us say I put 60 just to show you, and then I'll revert it back. And now I run it. So I have to give a comma here. Okay. Now if you see, this is the space between this and this is, so for now the person feels that now it has been aligned, but basically there is a small empty box here with 60 width. But now what we'll do, reduce it to 20 and run it. Well, this is good, or we can also make it to 30. Let's make it 30. Okay, this seems nice. Okay, yes, we have done this now. Now we have to change this color. Now, how do I change this color? Icons dot call, comma. Now I want a color here. Color, I say colors dot teal accent. I run it. Good, I got this. But then what I want is, I want to increase the size of this icon. Now, how do I increase it? I go next. I say if there's something called a size. Okay, yes, size. Now I say let's make it 30.0. Okay. Next one. So I think 30 is a bit big. Let's make it 25. So whatever I'm teaching you so far is only designing. See, the content has already been put in just 5 minutes, but only the styling things takes some time. Okay. Now if you see, it is almost similar to what we have here. Maybe the icon size is a bit large there, smaller, but almost same as what we have there. Now next we want this. For that, what we'll do, again we'll close this, because we have all, see, now to do this it took us around 5 to 10 minutes understanding and as we needed it. So what I'll do is, I will, so in the container I had a row. Now what I'll do is, I'll also collapse this. Okay, and then now let us understand how things are working here. So I have a circle avatar, and then I have a text. And then I have a container. Inside this container, I have a child. In container, I have a child. That child has a row. That row has all these things. So now what will I do? I'll copy this. I'll press Ctrl D. Wait. I'll copy this. Press comma. Press Enter. I'll paste it. Now I'll run it. Okay, exactly same. Now what I have to do? Now I will go inside my second container. So now what we needed there? Here I have my email ID, and then I have an icon there. Right? The icon I feel is of that. What is this icon? This icon is of mail. I think mailbox. Yes. Okay, so let's get back here, and then here I'll just change it to abhishek@brightbee.io, and then the icon I say control spacebar, call go back. Okay. Control space bar. There are so many icons. So, but I know it is of email. So I'll press email. I'll press this. Okay. So I think we are done. We are done with this. Okay. So now all we have to do, I feel, is to get things into the center. Okay. Now let's see how we can do that. Okay. So everything is good so far. Our app is ready. Now this is basically how you work. You basically first put out content. Now you take every single widget and now you start decorating it. Okay. Now I have a column. Let's see if I can put it in a center. Now it should work. If not, then we'll try to fix it. Okay, now set center widget. Okay, let's center it. Now run and see. Let's see what happens. Why is it not working? Okay, I have another method to do it. If I can not center it using this, then a column also has, now basically if you see the body is column, it means, as I told you in the example, right, the whole body is a column now. So in this column I have a parameter to align it. There's something called as main axis alignment. Again, if you are feeling that, oh, how do I remember all these things, you don't need to remember it, because so if I, in the previous example when I showed you, there was no need of using column, but now there was I used the column but I did not align it in the center. But in this scenario I want to center it, right? So once you get used to it and experience more apps, you will understand it. So now I want to align it in the center like this, right? So now what will I do? I'll use a parameter called as main axis. Put a comma first and then put and then I say main. I'm not getting it. Okay, maybe I'm using small m. This main axis alignment, and then I say main axis alignment dot center. Okay, and now let's try it. Yes, we got it. Okay, now what is this main axis alignment? What about center? Let's try something else. There is something called a space evenly. Okay, let's try space evenly. Okay, now you see space evenly means it is taking the whole place and evenly it is spacing in between these widgets. Right. Next, space between. Okay, so it is making that at the end there is no much space and all the space is given only in the between, between the widgets and not in the other widgets. What is other? Space around. So now you see there is a space which is given below this, but what we want things to be in center. So I press center, I press OK. Okay. uh, so that is the reason we see center, we did not center it at the earlier. So when you use container analysis, you can center it. When you're using column, there are various parameters which you should get used to, and then over a period of time, we'll get used to it. Okay. So how was it? Any feedback? Any queries? Any doubts? Did you understand it? You want me to explain any part of the app?
Sada,
Yes.
can we add a stroke to the image border and the containers, like
See
a black line or something like a border?
See, you can add it. There is nothing as of such that you cannot add. All you have to do is experiment more things on it. Okay. So we had an image earlier. So now I put a circular radius. Now you go there and find out. So you go. What you do is go to documentation. So why not you take this as a challenge? And now what you do, you go and type circular avatar Flutter. Okay. So now see what I have shown you is only one parameters. Okay. Now there is so many parameters which you can use the circular avatar. Okay, maybe child foreground color, maximum radius color, and all those things. So you go check one of the documentation process and then see what parameters has to be used and then use it. Like for example, asset image, I have used this parameter radius, right? So you can do it.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, let's get back to the meeting. I at least see if people are around there. Nobody is speaking. I felt everybody is sleeping.
No, no,
Or
we are
yeah,
awake.
huh?
We are awake.
Oh, you are awake.
Yeah.
Yes, listening and understanding.
Okay, I have some. Okay, great. Thank you. I did not saw this image, but thank you. So, any feedback so far, or any queries which you have in this app?
Abhishek,
Yes.
can you show that font weight you have applied bold things?
Wait, just a moment. Font weight. Where is font weight? Yes, yes. So, what do you want here, Mahesh?
Yeah. So here we don't need to specify any family, right?
Uh-huh. So font weight itself, see, it is all inbuilt. As Akash was asking earlier, that can we give this style, that style? So most of the things are already done. If I put it bold, let's see if I can make it to italic. Bold and no italic here, but I think this should be there. Let us say this value. Okay, W100. Weight font 100. Now let's see what happens. Okay. So basically, if you can see here, it has been lighter.
Yes.
So
Yes.
now I'll change it to 500. All you have to do is experiment out. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now see, it's better than what we had put it earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can just play around with the parameters. If you don't understand what you do, just say font weight Flutter. You go to the documentation, you read it for some things, and then you'll get to know about all this. Now, how did I know there was a style here? When I was learning 1.5 years ago, I got to know there is. I went and read documentation
Yes.
and read it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Anybody else? So by 11 o'clock, we'll wrap this up. Any queries? Please welcome. And then by 11:05, we'll start WhatsApp, building WhatsApp app UI. And then today you will also giving you challenges, which you have to post it on the group. And so any doubts, if you have understand these things, you can go ahead and build anything now. But we'll also make you introduce new widgets. Like we introduced to circular avatar, there's something called a list style, expanded widgets, and many more things. Okay, I'll just take a break for 2 minutes. So any doubts? Are you able to do it? Anybody who tried yesterday's app and then so how are you how guys working upon? I mean, directly you are seeing my screen and coding side by side, or you're just listening and then noting it down.
I'm coding along with you.
Oh, great.
I'm noting it down.
Okay, okay,
Even I am coding here.
okay. So I would suggest that what I'm doing is also very specifically I'm going very slow so that you can understand. Also, I'm giving specific time so that you can understand it and do it and code side by side. Okay, so if you want, we can go slow further, but then you at least please try to see that you code along with me so that you will understand it yourself. No doubts? No doubts in
No
this?
doubts. No.
No doubt.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, Akash, I want you to close the recording and then restart it again once we start the WhatsApp UI, so that we can have the divided models, because it takes a lot of time to upload it on the YouTube, right? So we can have a divided model so that at least the first videos can be start rolling out to people.
Okay, sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
You close the recording, and then now till then you can keep it on the backend for rendering.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
And then in the next 5 minutes we'll start. Then you start recording that again, so that we have that second part. So at least we can start rolling out the first video in next 2-3 hours, and then we can share them the second video in bits and pieces. Okay.
Yeah. No problem. I'll do that.
Okay.